a big day in the NFL offseason calendar. It was schedule release day, where every team around the NFL found out the entirety of their 18-week schedule, when they were playing, during which day of the week. We already knew opponents and where the games would be, home versus away, but we know exactly when each team is playing each and every week. Who's in primetime? Who has a marquee matchup? All of that great stuff. We'll look at the NFL calendar, some notable games here for the schedule in 2024. We'll provide those live updates as we are underway in the opening round at Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky, for the second major championship of this golf season. It's the 2024 PGA Championship. Both Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods on the course as we speak.
We are a FanDuel-sponsored show, and FanDuel put out a pretty good odds boost this morning on Rory McIlroy through the first three holes to be at least par or better. He's -1 right now on the third hole and just launched a drive right down the middle. So if you see my eyes tilting over to the side, it's because I'm watching my boy Mr. Roars try to cash a ticket live, which is rare, Ben. Cashing tickets live on air in the 9 a.m. Eastern hour is kind of crazy. So it could be a beautiful start to the day, but it looks fantastic down at Valhalla. You know, tournament conditions, we're looking for maybe 15 to 20 under from the champion, and a lot of really good players here. So a good hour number two and a profitable hour number two about to be starting up.
I hope so. It's what our guy Charlie Hume told us yesterday live from the 10th tee box at T-Mobile's Club Magenta there at Valhalla, that the conditions would be conducive to scoring. It might be a track meet this week in Louisville. And shout out to my co-host, Donnie Rightside, who tried to give me that tip of the odds boost on the lovely FanDuel Sportsbook for Rory to be even through his opening three holes of the championship. Our producer, Joe Frieso, took it. I could not get there quick enough. But hey, some things just happen to go that way. All right, now to the unveiling of the 2024 NFL schedule. We got some of those marquee games leading up to the full schedule release last night around 7 p.m. Eastern. We saw some very funny and creative social media videos. Shout out to the Chargers. I think the winners of the day in their Sims themed schedule release. But now we look at some of those marquee matchups and marquee dates each and every year around the National Football League. How about Turkey Day? A Turkey Day triple header will start with a great NFC North matchup in Detroit between the Lions and the Bears. The Cowboys will host a divisional foe in the New York Giants, and the Packers, Lambeau, Thanksgiving night against the Miami Dolphins, who make the trip up to maybe snowy Green Bay at that point of the year, should be a sensational triple header. Also to note, Donnie, the Chicago Bears will play. That's week 13, I believe, which is the week of Thanksgiving. The Bears will play all 6 of their NFC North divisional games in the final 8 weeks of the NFL schedule. They do not play a divisional opponent in their first 10 games of the year. It will be a strong backstretch for the Bears.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting quirks in the schedule. Now, I haven't got a chance to go over every team, but I'm going to be focused, obviously, on the Eagles, who have the final, I believe, 4 of 5 games at home to end the season. So a front-loaded road schedule to start out. You can't make a perfect schedule for every team, and sometimes teams feel slighted, but that's a really interesting one because as a fan base, you love the divisional matchups. They're your rivals here. You got a really good young football team. You want that measuring stick game, like right out of the gate against the Minnesota Vikings, or you want that against the Green Bay Packers or the Detroit Lions, and you're not going to get that. So that is an interesting quirk, but that's a great game on Thanksgiving. It used to be, Ben, we would watch the Lions game, like, I can't believe that we're actually being, watching the Lions because they lose every single year, the Joey Harrington years and all that nasty stuff. It's like, just kick them off. Now it's coming back to us because the Bears and the Lions should be a fun one to watch. Then you see that game number 2, the Giants and the Cowboys. All right, Turkey comes out. That's where you take your nap. And they gave you a banger at night, though, Ben. An absolute banger with that Dolphins-Packers game. So hopefully the tryptophan doesn't kick in bad enough to have you going to bed early. But for myself, come on, 8:20 on Thanksgiving night. Can't we be earlier, Ben? Can't just be earlier. It's late. It's really late.
Yeah. What do you do in terms of fasting on Thanksgiving? I guess it's actually probably a pretty easy day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because well, see, and also coming from an Italian-based family here, the good part is like I eat typically around, let's just say around noon, right? 11:30 to like
Yeah.
12:30 is my range. Well, on Thanksgiving, usually that doesn't work, but in an Italian family, that bad boy's out there around 1 o'clock, so we're good to go here.
True.
Eat earlier, so it doesn't affect me one bit. A lot of food, a lot of pie, a lot of good stuff. Let's go.
I thought the right side family was Spanish. No, Italian? Oh,
Well, my wife is Italian. So, yeah, I'm a quarter Italian.
Right.
The wife is, I think, I want to say 50% Italian. So we got some Italian up in this piece. Yeah.
I think that's good. But as you've said often, the wife doesn't watch the show, so it's fine. Now we go from Thanksgiving to Christmas, a doubleheader on a Wednesday. If you give the NFL an inch, they will take a mile. It is a great doubleheader on Christmas. However, already for this upcoming season in 2024, both games will be streamed exclusively on Netflix. First game up, Chiefs in Pittsburgh against the Steelers at Acrisure. What a great game that is. And then the AFC divisional round rematch from the postseason between the Ravens and the Texans. This one in Houston. Houston, a 2.5-point underdog for that Christmas game. Kansas City, nearly a touchdown favorite, laying 6.5, as those early odds are out. But I want to ask you, DRS, how you feel, often a critic of some sports scheduling as it comes to TV networks, of having both of the Christmas Day games on Netflix.
I don't like it, and here's the reason why. Like, we're getting too far in these streaming services because it's just tough to keep a track of. Now, granted, I'm not going to miss any of these games. I basically have a subscription to every one of them, including Netflix, so it's not that big of a deal. But just in the landscape, like, I am a, remote control fiddler over here, Ben, which means like if there's a down moment here or a commercial, I like to change the channel. And if you're just with the family, which again on Christmas, probably people will be around, I'm not going to be like down in my basement with multiple TVs watching a show here in the NFL game. We'll be together. So I'd like to check in on other things. Like let's just say an NBA game is playing on Christmas Day, which it is. Let me just check the score. You sort of have to get out of Netflix, then go back into Netflix. And also, we always get angry at this. Streaming services are so far behind the live product. You know, one of my joys typically is here watching football. It's basically watching with America through social media, but they're 2 to 3 minutes back. And if you're following beat writers, they're 3 and 4 plays ahead of you here. And also, how do you get down on those bets? They're like, okay, I'm expecting a turnover in this spot when literally they just scored a touchdown and you have no idea what's going on here. So there are some down things to that, but you can watch it. It's okay. I'm not in love with it, though.
Listen, here's my only thing. I have Netflix. It's not going to be an issue for me to watch these football games. Most people, I think, have Netflix if they have any of the streaming services. But this is where things are really going, and I find it ironic because we're basically getting cable packages, now just different streaming. We're getting a cable bundle from Max and Netflix and Apple TV, as they will give us a vastly reduced price for those 3 streaming services all in one. You guys aren't being creative. You are not being ironic. It is cable, just under a different name. In the NFL this year, Donnie, we'll stream games on Prime each and every week for Thursday Night Football, Netflix, Peacock, and if you want Sunday NFL Ticket, it's on YouTube TV. So some of the casual fans or some fans around the National Football League that do not have all of these streaming networks are put at a disadvantage, and the NFL is virtually saying, hey, get with the times. The NFL will never starve for an audience. The NFL generates and dominates audience, but it's still just a sign of the times, I guess.
Yeah, and are we getting to subscription-based services where it's like you just have to subscribe to your team and that's what you get, and you got to? It's wild where this is going because it's apparent that the general public will pay for it, and the NFL is going to be like, you know what? Then we'll do it.
Yep, absolutely so. More marquee matchups around the National Football League come your way up next. So we have showed you the marquee matchups for those significant early season games around 2024 in the National Football League, those holiday broadcasts as well. But last night, every NFL team, all 32 organizations, unveiled the entirety of their schedule. That's weeks 1 through 18. When are the bye weeks? When exactly on a Sunday slate are you playing? Perhaps do you have a short week Thursday night football game? Are you traveling back-to-back weeks? What are those miles that you are logging? All of that, DRS, is significant because it does really paint the path to your win total. Do you have the rest advantage or disadvantage? Are you traveling a ton to how you can stack up the wins? What is baked into a spread for any week in the National Football League? And some of those odds are out. That's my favorite thing about the schedule release, also the fun social media videos that we have.
Yeah, it's always nice because the football season is 365 for us now. It's almost like every single month we have something to look forward to in football season outside of the games themselves, whether it be the combine, free agency, you're getting tagged, OTAs, the draft, the schedule release. It keeps us involved here. And as we're in the month of May, now getting excited for the season because it's tangible now. We always knew the opponents. Now we know where they're at. So if you're a fan base, much like the people will go out and say, okay, where's our away games that we're going to go to? Let's plan our tailgates for the home games here. How does this set up here? Is it a great home schedule? Is it a tough road schedule here? It's fun to see it play out. And also, it's probably that last bit of, I waited to make my seasonal win totals projection until I see the actual schedule coming out. Then you hit that little lull until you get to training camp and the injuries come up. So it's that last bit of information that you needed just to get you recharged for football season. And now we can see where these big-time games are at.
Listen, I highly recommend the great work that our guy, our lead NFL analyst, Warren Sharp for the SportsGrid Network does with his team at Sharp Analytics. If you just scroll through his Twitter page, you will find out everything that you need to know. How many games are in prime time? Who has the toughest schedules week 1 through 5? Who has a very difficult home stretch like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have by far the most difficult schedule in the final 6-7 weeks of this NFL campaign? The Baltimore Ravens have the most difficult schedule to start off the year, weeks 1 through 5. The opener to start the season debut in Kansas City, also with road games at Dallas, home games against the Raiders and the Buffalo Bills. It is a gauntlet for the flock to start as they look to get back to their second consecutive AFC title game. Let's talk a couple of narratives as well here to start off 2024. Russ will make his return quickly to the Mile High City. The Steelers are on the road week number 2 against the Denver Broncos. How about the Stephon Diggs game in Houston as he welcomes in his former team, maybe with some bad blood, against the Buffalo Bills? Our Super Bowl 58 rematch, week number 7, Sunday slate in San Francisco. It's the 49ers taking on the Chiefs. The Bears and the Commanders, week number 8. Week 12, it's the Chargers and the Ravens. That's the Harbaugh Bash. Great job by the LA Chargers social media team in their schedule release video. But I love week 12 because it was the Harbaugh brothers having a pillow fight in their childhood bedroom. And we have the game between Kirk Cousins and his former team. Doesn't happen until week 14, but the Falcons hit the road to Minneapolis to take on the Vikes.
Yeah, a lot of intrigue. I mean, each and every week we love talking about the NFL games, but as we said, it's fun to finally see these games come into fruition. That Bills-Texans game, I mean, the Texans are in some big money moments this year and expecting big things for C.J. Stroud and that revamped offense, which was quite good last year. That should be a fun one, but I do take a look at that week 7 matchup here, right? You always want to get back at the team that beat you in the Super Bowl. Last year, now granted, while the Philadelphia Eagles were maybe the hottest team in football to start the season, they went and played on a Monday night football game and got revenge, but revenge didn't mean anything because they beat the Chiefs there. The Chiefs went on to win another Super Bowl, and away you go at that point. But it's nice that San Francisco has them in their own building to sort of get back a little revenge and extract that. We'll see if that takes place. But of all those games that are listed, I think everybody could probably agree that Chiefs 49ers game is going to be awesome.
It's going to be incredible. Donnie, I was already looking forward to seeing how the schedule makers would treat the Houston Texans and the Atlanta Falcons. Both teams enter this offseason and 2024 with optimism and now expectation. And when you look at Houston, they are in prime time 4 times, as are the Atlanta Falcons. The teams in prime time most frequently, the New York Jets, the San Francisco 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys. They will each play 6 primetime games in all 6 for Gang Green and Aaron Rodgers in the first 11 weeks of the NFL season. Get ready, buddy, to learn Aaron Rodgers, including that opening Monday night on the road in San Francisco against the 49ers. I cannot wait for the opening weekend of the year and that game in primetime, Sunday Night Football. Matthew Stafford back in the Motor City once again. The playoff rematch between the Lions and the Rams. And the FanDuel Sportsbook has these week 1 lines already out. Detroit a 3.5-point home favorite.
I mean, it feels like we're going to be exhausted after week 1, right? Because you have the extra Friday night game. So we're going to be on a bender from Thursday, Friday. And then, of course, we got football on Saturday with college football. Sunday, an unbelievable card. Everybody's going to be excited. Sunday night football, Monday night football. By Tuesday, we're going to be like, man, we got to do this for still a couple more months. But that's the anticipation and the wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how it plays out. But again, the NBA does a very good job of this, the same way that the NFL does. Give us the marquee games that we want right off of the bat. And I love that. Also, keep in mind on this, sort of a tough scenario. When you're one of the better football teams, the NFL does like to put you on in the biggest spotlight moments. We saw how profitable those games have been on Christmas, where it's like, okay, I don't care if that's on a Wednesday. We're going to make sure we have those and we can sell them to an, off programming on like Netflix. But for the Ravens to go back-to-back on the road on Christmas, that's not right, man. Like the NFL, I understand like they're a big draw and that's a big football game. But if you're a Ravens player, sure, you get paid a lot of money. You got to show up when the games are. But that's a tough scene. At least give them the Ravens the home game in their own building on Christmas. But they got them on the road again, which is kind of tough.
2.5-point road favorite. The Flock, though, will be a big feature on that Christmas Day slate. It was a statement game for Baltimore last year, winning in San Francisco. Speaking of the Niners, they are the Super Bowl 59 favorites in front of the Chiefs. But we can see how much the odds makers love San Fran, booked as a favorite in every game last year. That included the Super Bowl loss to KC. They're a 1.5 favorite already in the rematch, week number 7, nearly a touchdown favorite for that season opener against the Jets.